Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of MGC. This is a follow-up to the previous video where I had this 2014 E-Class, and what we were doing was checking it out in the first video, and now I want to take you through a actual ride review of this vehicle. This is actually an E250. It's about a 208 horsepower petrol engine. I had it confused with an E550 in the previous video because it's got an E550 badge, but don't be fooled, this is the 250. And it's a very reliable, economical machine. So let's get through the ride review, see how this vehicle handles some of these rougher roads and actual Kenyan roads, and let's get into it. Thank you to Ace Prestige Motors for giving me this vehicle today. If you guys want to buy a new car, used or brand new, this is the place to check out if you're in Nairobi. Gong Road, Ace Prestige Motors. They got Land Cruisers, they got Range Rovers, they got it all. So, want to buy a car? Check them out. Alright guys, so welcome to another episode of MGC. Today we're once again in the 2014 E-Class, and I want to take you through a full ride review. You guys know I like giving you a full separate video to take you through the ride review, so this is it. Nice and silent. You turn the key. You know, it starts right up, absolutely solid, and you can see your little bends in the little display in the speedometer, and you've got your transmission in park right now, and you got reverse and drive. And of course, what I found interesting and what I mentioned in the other video as well is that you don't have the gear, you just don't have the gear stick anymore. When I first got in the vehicle, it was a bit weird for me, but yeah, such is the case. You just don't have the gear stick anymore. And I'm not going to wear the seatbelt because of the mic. So, you know, the immediate impressions when you get in a vehicle like this is that, you know, you're sitting back. I mean, I'm a tall guy, I'm about 6'1", but there's plenty of room in this vehicle. If I kind of adjust myself, you can see I've now got that headroom, and I like sitting like this in a sedan, you know, nice and low, so you can just enjoy. I mean, look at me right now. If I had 500 kilometers in front of me of just driving, you know, and it was smooth roads, I would be in heaven. I mean, it would be an absolute pleasure. Look at how attractive and well laid out the interior is. So anyways, let's take a drive. The gear is here, so to put it in drive, we actually flick it down and just take out that handbrake. And you know, this car is a bit low, so you do have to be careful in a place like Kenya where there could be a bad ledge anywhere. So you got a beautiful reverse camera. It shows me, this reminds me of my Cygnus. It's not very different technology. Lots of sensors in this vehicle, and everything is just spazzing out, so I don't like that so much. I hope there is a way of actually reducing the volume on those sensors, but initial ride impressions are, this is quite a spacious cabin actually. Lots of space in this vehicle. And yeah, it's quite a good look, especially coming from the C-Class. This steering wheel is exactly what I expect from an E-Class. Look at how light it is, and that's, in my opinion, how these vehicles should actually be. So immediate impressions, this car really drives very well. I love how light the steering wheel is. If you just see, if we're just maneuvering over here, pretty easy to maneuver, you know, no problems whatsoever, even though this is a slightly larger vehicle. So this is the E250. It is a Japanese import, and so that's why you get this. Otherwise, it's not usually available in some of the other countries. But this is the E250, and we're putting out just about 208 horsepower. So we got about a 2-liter engine. It's a petrol engine. And as you can see, we're just coming up here. See, you know, the C-Class passing us. We're just getting onto this sort of rocky terrain, and you know, the vehicle feels quite smooth. I must say, it definitely feels smooth. Let me just put my seatbelt on. All right. Yeah, so the vehicle feels quite smooth, and this isn't actually running on the air suspension. We've got a coil setup, but it's so finely tuned, even though we're running big wheels and low profile tires. It definitely feels quite smooth for this kind of terrain, and I think you can see from the way the camera is not shaking that much. pretty smooth vehicle, and even the maneuverability, if I just give it a turn over here, it's pretty easy to maneuver, and you know, it's a very nice dashboard to look on to. I'm actually gotten used to this this gear stick lever being on the steering wheel. I'm already used to that actually, and the rear camera helps out quite a bit. So initial impressions are this is riding really nicely. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with it, and you got a lot of these kind of rocky roads in Kenya, and it's dealing with it pretty well. I don't think it's having any issues actually. Great. And really smooth, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So I mean, I must say, Kenyan roads, we all know they can get pretty bad. You can get some big potholes, you know. I drive up country sometimes and it can get pretty damn bad, and that's why I've got that Land Cruiser. So if you're going to drive a car like this with these low profile tires, you're going to suffer. I mean, I've got to say that straight up. If you're going up country and you're going on some of those roads, this is not the car for it. Even though I see a lot of these E-classes on those Nairobi-Nakuru highway and some of the other roads, I do feel like you're going to wear out a lot of the components, and it's just not the car to be beating down on some of those roads. But if you're going to tarmac drive, you're going to be comfortable. So overall, I must say I'm quite comfortable riding this vehicle. I've already gotten used to that gear stick being on the steering wheel, you know. I'm comfortable in these leather seats, even though they're kind of sporty and the bolsters are a bit larger than I'd like. But the car is very maneuverable. The suspension is just independent front suspension and rear suspension. And you know, they've sort of tightened it up, so the body roll is a bit less, and you know, even though this is a big sedan, it feels quite good and quite grounded on the road. And you got a 7-speed automatic transmission that shifts very smoothly, so everything comes together quite well. And I must say, I'm definitely enjoying driving this car a lot in just a few minutes. And just the lightness of the steering wheel and the improvements that they've made in that are very impressive. Rounding this review up, I think the overall presence and the way this vehicle actually looks, if you see the way those headlights have been designed, even though they've been joined into one headlight, and you know, the E-Class is famous for having dual headlights, you can see the way they've done those LED beams, and they're 2 beams, and I believe the C-Class has 1 beam and the S-Class has 3, so that's how they've differentiated along the model range. But this vehicle, as I said, drives really smooth. Turning circle is really good, and if we see, it is quite a long vehicle, but yet maneuverability is really good. And just the way it looks, you know, the way the chrome comes together with this black paint, it just looks fantastic. And a very attractive vehicle, very attractive sedan that sits right in the middle of Mercedes sedan range. And you know, if you're not willing to bump all the way up to the S-Class and you know, deal with higher kind of maintenance costs, and you sort of don't want the C-Class because you feel it's too basic in nature and you need something a bit bigger and something with a bit more room, then there is nothing really that can beat this E-Class. Lives up to the laurels of the E-Class. It gives you a really soft, smooth, comfortable ride. It balances luxury by giving you those material choices, and actually, you know, nice wood trim, nice chrome bits, aluminium on the interior, so much space inside. And it also is a reliable vehicle. You know, it's built tough, everything fits well together, and the overall build quality is good, and the reliability from, you know, reviews and forums suggests that this vehicle does hold up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's been another episode of MGC. Like, share and subscribe.